Hmm. Your eyes do not deceive you. I have returned. Not only have I returned, I've returned for something that's a blast from the past. And by past, I mean like 5, 6 years ago. I actually don't remember when the game came out. I only played it like, well, for real, played it. I want to say like a year, maybe. No, yeah, about a year ago. Yeah, I was one of those kinds of fans that just kind of watched YouTubers play it, didn't actually play it myself. The game, of course, I'm speaking of is Undertale. You can see it as I wrote it out right here in this general area right here. You can see my penmanship right there, sort of corrected by the software, making it a lot more legible than it normally is. But by doing so, making it a lot less legible. Nonetheless, I digress with this. So today we're drawing Undertale characters. I've come back to draw some more for you, this time at a different aspect ratio so it can be properly viewed on, well, all of your devices. Hopefully, anyway. I actually have no idea what I'm doing, but nonetheless, I really want to draw some Undertale characters. Recently, I had come into the possession of, in case you haven't noticed, I've already started drawing uh, several, well, Frisk right here. They're doing the little bird thing right here, and I imagine that's something they do a lot, despite how nice and childish they may seem. If they're a child, then they're just as cruel as all the other children out there in the world. Kids are cruel, you know? Anyway, I actually completely spaced on what I was going to say. But it's just going to be along the lines of I'm back drawing. I'm doing this again. This time I've come into a night where I have yet again gone slightly insane to draw more things. And with a new sort of style to boot. And by new, I mean I've given up on trying to be good at things. And have sought the path of being a absolute shitter. Now, some of you might be saying, well, honestly, I'm surprised anybody's there to say this. Why? Well, given that is the question of the hour, the reason why is just because. I liken myself to being someone that just really doesn't care all too much, but by extension, I care way too much. So, I decided to meet myself in the middle and just kind of not care, but care enough to make it look decent. But you know what? There's already a lot of great people out there. No need to be another one. I mean, come on. Might as well be a normie. I mean, we need normies out there in the world. Anyway, enough about me. Let's get into Undertale, the game that shook up the internet ways back when. In fact, I was part of the group of people that was absolutely infatuated with the game, even though I never played it, as previously discussed. I honestly only really. I think the only YouTubers I actually watch play it. Oh, I actually don't really remember because I remember first I saw Steam Train playing it. They played the first episode. I watched it. I was like, oh, this seems like a horror game. You know, those old indie horror games where you get like a little kid and usually a little girl in some really fucked up setting. And then it's like, okay, so this is like one of those dojins, whatever. And that's what I thought it was. I was actually waiting, watching Steam Train playing it, when Toriel was gonna turn on the player and like kill him. Which I never actually saw that bit, but it did in a way happen, but not in the way I was thinking of it. More so in a, I don't want to fight you. In fact, she's programmed in there not to do so, which I thought was interesting. I actually didn't know much about the game for the longest of times. Um, but it got really popular on Tumblr, and I really saw a lot of the really cool art and some things like that. And I'm like, what? Really? No way. This and that happens. So I'm very much a fan that is a product of um, seeing the fandom itself, not so much through my own experience with the game. I did watch a YouTuber play it, and honestly, it is lost on me who played it that I watched. That just goes to show that I was so focused and engrossed by the game itself as opposed to the personality behind it, which you could say has its own weird thing going on, but I don't think it's too bad. It was just kind of something that just happens, you know. Sometimes you just like the game. I mean, it's like watching your older brother play a game, and before you know it, you're more infatuated with the game itself as opposed to the person. It happens, you know. And I always personally imagined Frisk as being a little shitter. Someone that ran away from home, climbed a fucking mountain, because they got that kind of energy to just do that. Now, I like to imagine that in their first go-around in the underground, they're pretty cool places, but on their second go-around, which more often than not would be when you did a pacifist playthrough, then they would be a lot more crass, a lot less caring, kind of going through that Flowey mentality, you know what I'm saying? Which, of course, you would get such an interaction such as this, as most players of the game, or at least I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck you, flower thing. I'll feel sad for you later, but that's after my pacifist playthrough. For now, you're just a kind of a dick, Your fucking flower petal attacks, Those are totally flower petals, Speaking of the flower petals, I've actually recently bought the Undertale art book. I've come into some money, so I wanted to spend it with a less than frugal mindset on useless things. So one of the useless things I bought was the Undertale art book, a Hyper Light Drifter art book, the fucking vinyls for Deltarune and Undertale, because I've recently come into possession of a turntable, which is quite nice. I want to say, not to try to sound like I'm flexing, because honestly, it's not even top of the line. Oh yeah, not even top of the line. It's just that I really enjoy having such a thing. It helps brighten my mood when I'm feeling like not so positive about things. And seeing the art fucking on those things is why I got it. I could easily have just gotten like a PNG somewhere of it, but they were that good that I just wanted to have a thing in my collection. Because I'm working on a collection apparently, because I just keep buying things now, It's just a thing that's happening. I mean, I just get on the internet, find something. I'm like, you know what? I have some spare change, I still make rent on time, make my payments on my car or whatever. Anyway, we've just drew Frisk and Flowey. Let's get into drawing, I guess Toriel. Let's go in order of the bosses. I do like how they had that one random 3D render of Toriel, the tutorial character. Not as cool as Terry Hintz, but, she'll suffice. What was I saying? What the fuck was I saying? Oh, shit. I can't believe I actually spaced out on that. I must actually be either in such a good mood or I'm absolutely gone daft. Well, must be that one after all. I've decided to make a video for no other reason than I just kind of felt like it. Like, that's my sole reasoning, is that I just kind of woke up and I was like, you know what? It's already been like 16 hours of my day. Might as well make a video. Fuck it, I've got that kind of energy going about me right now. That's just how I roll sometimes. Sometimes you just let that impulse take over you and then you start making stuff. Honestly, I think that's the key to creativity, is just to kind of let that cork out, Oh yeah, I think I was talking about how nice the art on the games is. Not the art. Oh, that 3D render they did of Toriel that was in the Switch trailer for Undertale when they released that port after God knows how long. That was something I think they already had made, and in the art book, you can Toby Fox's unwavering sarcasm showing, where he's like, yeah, it was pretty good, but not that, it's too good for the game, honestly. Just a cut above the rest on as far as in my art goes, or just art in general. And I was surprised in the artists that were working on the game, or at least supplied some designs, Not that was that many, but what's she doing? I was trying to get her to like do something cool, but now that I look at it, it's not turning out that way at all. Oh well. Give her that swooshes for hair, or floppy ear things, because they're goats, but I'm fairly certain goats don't have ears like that. Call me crazy, but I'm pretty sure goats are actually, less than appealing to look at. Call me crazy, I know. Here, I know what we're doing. We're having her, she's protecting Frisk. Or, yeah, Frisk. I was about to say player character, but no, player character is Kara, because we're murder psychopaths, each and every single one of us. She'll be patting them on the head. albeit you can assign your own identity onto. Well, no, Frisk is like their own person, I guess, if they're not player character San. Just draw Frisk really small here, even though they were not that small in the previous drawing. They're being protected by Goat Mama. That was pretty funny, honestly, that whole sequence. Say, I'll come and save you. I promise. I won't try to kind of murder you in a way. Now, my husband, on the other hand, my ex-husband's totally going to be doing that. Not me, though. I would never do that to you. No, she's got that fucking Bishojo eyes. Them like, yeah, she got, oh, that's a little weird. She got them fucking. Oh, I was talking with the artist of the game. Yeah, GGD or however you say your name. She was working on the game. That surprised me because I didn't even realize it. I believe they were originally Haim Daisy or something like that. Made those comics way back when. Their art's pretty good, honestly. I like their color choicing and whatnot. They're really good at what they do. Which is why I'm disgracing all of these artists and their amazing designs. Even someone like Toby Fox, who is a self-admitted not the greatest artist, but nonetheless, a real mark of an artist is somebody that tries. Somebody really puts their foot forward, despite lack of ability and whatnot. We all can't spend, decades of our lives becoming masters of the craft and then making money off that. This ain't like the fucking ancient days where you just got time for that shit and then it's just all you do and then that's all you're ever going to be from birth. That's just what you do. We can't live our lives like that. Even the people that are really well off can't really do that because money and such is a fleeting thing. I do like the fire thing. That cover art and just art in general, Toriel being a badass is really neat. Neat, yeah, it's neat. Because you never really, when you think about their sprites and the way you contextualize it, what it's going to be, the way they're going to end up being, especially when you get people interpreting these things in various different ways, I find it really amusing and interesting at what people can get out of something that really probably wasn't meant to be much, or interpreted in that way. Like, I'm fairly certain Sans didn't have sandals. He had like untied sneakers meant to emphasize his laziness, but in the end you can't really see that detail in there, so you just kind of do whatever you want with it, and it really works out. That's the beauty of a simple design in a game like that. It's really open to artist interpretation, which I think was one of the best selling points for Undertale, as most classic games are when you have art dedicated to those things. Like, you ever see how people interpret that information and like really make it their own in some respects. It also helps that the game is one of those ideas that lends itself to just people making shit up. That's the best. That's always the most popular properties are the games where people can just make shit up. That's the key aspect of any game. I mean, look at it. I mean, it's pretty true to think about it. If you look at a game like FNAF, where FNAF, you get ready to tell I'm a fan of that too, is that people could just kind of, well, like I said before, make shit up. People make lore videos on it, make their own theories, and then they just keep coming up with more and more. You could just make shit up. You've got a banger of a game, Not always, because sometimes if you just put random stuff in there, then it's really not going to catch on. At least as popular as it potentially could have been. You still need some like solid basing. Even like there's a great difference for how Undertale's open-endedness versus, well, the previously named Five Nights at Freddy's, where one clearly has some defined rules and how the world works and whatnot, and the other one's just kind of like, here's a bunch of bits and pieces that could be woven into a cohesive narrative, have fun trying to figure out what they are and which ones aren't anymore, which ones mean what and don't mean what anymore. It's just a clusterfuck, an absolute clusterfuck. Anyway, that's Frisk and Torio and the monsters in the ruins. What comes next? I guess Papyrus and Sans. Fault characters or skeletons. We keep drawing that stick and them standing there because I like to imagine that's all they really do is just walk around plain faced, stick in hand, just ready for that final. No, you know what this is? This is the YouTuber Frisk. This is the my fans wanted to see it. I have to do it now. I'm just kind of going through the motions. I'm a little insane right now. I'm just done with this bullshit. Gotta pretend to laugh at it. Haha, yeah, whatever. It's the YouTuber Frisk. I'm here for the content. Not really here for the game. Who cares? Lisa's like Undertale, which it's not at all. We'll get to Lisa eventually once I also get around to playing that. I hear a lot of good things on it. I've actually know all the spoilers, but spoilers never ruin an experience for me. As I previously stashed before, I knew the spoilers for Undertale in and out. Sans being the big major one. I was like, what? There's no way this guy is cool. And then he was. And I was like, wow, really? I do remember there was a girl in my old class. She just drew a skeleton and then drew a plate spaghetti with it. And me and my friend were like, oh my god, how you drew that? And she's like, what? It's like, oh, it's from this game. You know, fucking losers we were. Just, you know, fucking, you see there's this skeleton, right? His name is Pyrus, like, you know, like the font. Yeah, you know the font, right? You don't? Well, you see here, let me open up Photoshop on my phone real quick to show you the font. That's the font that this character speaks in, and he has got a weird chatter in his voice, you know, yeah, he likes spaghetti. It's just a popular anyway. Bye. She was cool about it. She like moved away eventually, not because of that. Papyrus, if he got any more serious, will turn into something like Daedon from Off. Surprise, surprise! I'm a fan of Off too. I watched Markiplier play that way back when as it was coming out. Pretty spectacular game, honestly. I actually have an old let's play I did. Well, not really let's play. We like streamed it once. I did with a friend, where we played Undertale. Yeah, I guess I did play it back then. I didn't complete it though. I'm pretty sure I pirated it, even though it's for cheap. But when you got no money, you know, I did buy several copies of it later on in life. So there you go, Mr. Fox. You get your due. I'm pretty sure of nothing, actually. What the fuck am I saying? I just realized fuck. My fly's down. I had to think for a sec because I was trying to remember what I said, but I didn't remember it, so that was pointless. I actually do remember I used that dog song for, you know, the annoying dog that shows up. You know, the fucking whatever, right? I actually used that in a clip in a video I made for a class. And I put it at the very end of a thing for the credits because I needed something there. Because I edited the whole thing since clearly my classmates were going to do that, you know. I used the song and just, you know, just fucking, that's just what I remember right now. There's really nothing else to it. It's just that I remember that I did that. And it was one of those moments where I'm like, you know what? This is kind of cringe. Why did I do this? This is kind of lame. But I kept doing it, and I don't know why. I just kept doing stuff that was pretty annoying. I actually do recall, due to my sort of stature and the way outlook I had on life, a couple of people were referring to me as Sans, the skeleton. Well, not the skeleton, just Sans. And it was like, wow, thanks guys. I appreciate it, I guess. I wasn't really trying to go for that. I'm just kind of going through the motions of several different things going wrong in my life, and you're calling me the fucking fat fucking skeleton from this game. I mean, I kind of appreciate it. He's kind of cool. And there was some chick that's like, yeah, you remind me of Sans. And she's trying to hit on me, and I'm like, I appreciate it, but this is for all the wrong reasons. I'd rather it be on my own merits, not because I look like a funny skeleton from popular vid game. Also, in all the AUs for Sans, he's like some badass dude, right? Which, props, recognition. But at the same time, he's not that. you know, the one thing I always think about when referring to like fandom and how they interpreted Sans, because he did become a Tumblr sexy man, is how they, you know, take away his beef, which is weird because he's a skeleton. They make him not so rotund. They give him the a strong jaw, and all his human appearances that you completely lose out on the whole, big bone nature of the character. And it's like, no, please, at least, like, even if it's hard to draw, like, fatter characters, in the end, his official design is just, like, a circle, or, like, even if you really want to, a different shape, like a rounded square or something like that. You didn't have to go full. No, he's a handsome young devil. He does no wrong. He's got the gaster blasters and all that jazz. So clearly he's not that. Albeit most designs do keep their own ton nature, albeit in the less human designs. And I didn't know there was one where he had tentacles. That one threw me off, albeit it was much appreciated, as there is a tentacle supremacy movement I wanted to start way back when. Don't worry, it wasn't weird. I just really like Dr. Octopus, which is not entirely a good thing to say, considering, well, bad guy. Albeit I will say my like for him comes from just that if I had cool, like, tentacle arms, I too would just walk around with them and completely lose function of my legs and regret not using my legs thereafter. You know what? Now that I say this out loud, it really doesn't sound all too positive, which is why it's only a fantasy where nothing can go wrong, as opposed to everything going wrong, as it does in the real world. And we try to forget those times, Try to move past them, go on, move on with our sickening lives we lead. But, I keep saying but. Do I keep saying but? I have not been paying attention if I've been repeating a lot of phrases this whole time. I just kind of just start moving forward and hope for the best, and usually things kind of go alright. I mean, overall, despite how, whack the past couple of years have been, especially since the last, like, upload I did, things have gone really estranged, honestly. But in the end, it's about keep moving forward. You just chin up, next mission, next objective, next step, and you go from there. Who's next after Sans and Papyrus? Oh, Undying the Undying. Drawing that armor does not seem beneficial to me, especially since I'm doing all this from, like, memory, which so far is pretty accurate since the designs are fairly simple. Let's go with I guess the date part. Here, I know now. I think I know what I'm gonna do. Would her? No, yeah, that would be back, and then this one would be forward. That one would be back. I think I don't actually know how to throw a spear, so I'm just kind of guessing. For any professional spear throwers out there that want to critique my form, I'm giving Undying the true hero on how to throw a spear. Feel free to comment in the comment section below how you would realistically throw a spear, because I for the life of me have never thrown a spear in my life. Call me crazy for not doing so, but I personally have no need for such an activity. As far as spear throwing goes, I don't have to hunt any humans or hunt in general, actually, in my life. I like to imagine she doesn't actually throw the spears. It's more like she does the form just to cast some magic. I mean, we never really see her do it. Just kind of summons near her. She's doing like a chaos spear, Shadow the Hedgehog style, which I guess would fit her MO. Anime is real, right? Right, guys? Anime is real. 2D is better. Too bad it can't actually touch you. Sorry, everybody. I just had to break your illusion right there. Your waifu ain't real waifu. You know what I'm saying? Here, put that in the Twitter hashtags. Waifu ain't no real waifu, which everyone will be okay with, because as established before, they're going to be living the fantasy. I keep getting depressing. I'm trying really hard not to. In fact, what I wrote down right here to remember what to say is talk about experiences with Undertale. And I guess to get back onto that, I watched a YouTuber play it. Don't really remember who. I was engrossed in the game itself, because it's actually good. Reminds me of whenever The Last of Us came out, and I watched one episode of PewDiePie playing it. I know, whack, right? Gamer guy. And then I was like, you know what? I want this game. I'm going to get it. And then I got it that Christmas as a gift, because it's like, 2013? So I was pretty young. Not that young. There's no need for you guys to judge me. I wasn't like 12 or something. I actually don't remember how old I was. Just that I still had enough free time to play games. Anyway, I watched YouTuber play it. It was nice. I wasn't completely enamored with it. I looked up all the secrets. Just seeing video after video on it, I was completely enamored, especially with the art. Seeing how people... It's one of those games that inspires people to create. The same thing happened with Doki Doki Literature Club, right? Which is a weird comparison to bring up. Just in that it got people, pen to paper doing stuff. And that's something that I really like about certain aspects of fandom culture, is that people create. They get inspired, and they do more. It's always a net positive in my opinion. Despite how many people may feel about fandom, I feel that if it gets people to do more, to explore new ideas, change how they see things, not even like perfectly, just to get a thought on it, I think that's really something special. Despite how cringe it may be. In fact, I remember I did some fan art and it got put on this person's blog for like bad art, and I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Fuck it. I put something out there. You're just out there critiquing people. I made an attempt, and that's always the most impressive thing about people, is when they try. There's a whole lot of not trying in the world, so when someone actually gives a damn to do something, that's cool. I think that's wonderful, which is weird virtual signaling on my part. I think it's cool people create. Yeah, fucking go figure. I fucking love it whenever you get a kid putting their pen to paper and they're just making something. Which is honestly what I'm trying to do now, because honestly, I do draw quite a bit. I don't think it's that much. I mean, filling out a sketchbook at this point is just like the standard routine for any artist. For me, it's just about putting it out there, putting yourself out there, knowing full well that this isn't your peak yet. You have yet to reach your max potential. I actually, when I played Undertale, I only ever lost to, I want to say, when I first for real played it my way through, I only ever lost to Metaton. Afterwards, yeah, that was my second playthrough. I only ever lost to Metaton. My first playthrough, I only ever lost to Asgore. I went the whole game playing it because I did it on stream with a friend, playing the whole thing. Didn't really lose all too much. Just, going through it. It's not an overtly difficult game. I've never done a genocide route, mind you, so I haven't gone through the damnation of damnation on that one. Just regular pacifist run playthroughs. I, for one, can't find it in me to kill my good friends I've made, even though they're not real, could never really truly reciprocate my mercy in any meaningful way, but nonetheless, I can't find it in me to do it. That's actually one thing I always look forward to when you see a new thing get like really popular, is to see the people in the art scene. Like, what are they making? How's the game, or how's the said thing being interpreted in what way? What's the thing everybody's latching on to? Who's the next Tumblr sexy man is what I'm always looking forward to. Who's it gonna be? Recently, something like the Owl House has gone quite popular, and it's very interesting seeing how fandom terms develop around such a thing, especially with newcomers and the like. I just find it interesting. It's like studying culture in a way, which is a really weird thing to say, and it sounds a little a little full of myself, like I'm a real sophisticated, but it's just like observation in the most basic aspects. It's like seeing some kids playing in the playground. Like, what are they gonna do? What are you gonna do? Are they gonna start bullying each other, or what? That's a weird comparison, because I don't think that's what people do, and I don't do that either. I just try to come up with a good metaphor to describe the notion of watching people, gravitate towards certain ideas. I guess it is just studying, I don't want to say culture. I want to say social aspects, something. A real smart pants is going to comment something if any smart pants is watching this. Like the study of, I don't know. I mean, several other people have brought it up in their own like post I've read because I kind of lurk around and things. I'm pretty much that's all I do. I lurk on the internet. I really should post more often, but I'm just my thoughts are going fucking everywhere. I'm terribly sorry. In fact, I didn't even get to finish that last statement. Well, I mean, I guess I finished it in my head and I moved on from it. That's my problem. See, I didn't even finish. Fuck. Oh my god. Specifically, to go back to the house, like let's have that a hard transition right there. Just seeing the things people gravitate towards and want to see more of, which was the key example was Amity, right? Everyone fucking is infatuated with her, and specifically her hair color, how her parents are gonna be. There was a lot of fan theory and speculation on how that was gonna go, and most common accepted thing was Amity getting brown hair, or going with the original color. Her father being like on her side, going against the mother, going with the whole like bad mom, good father thing, And yeah, that didn't happen at all. Which it could have been cool, not to knock that whole thing. Wait, he had a heart belt, I believe. Not to knock anybody that really liked that idea, because honestly, I was like, you know what, I'm for this. That's something that's pretty like pog, That's something I can jive with, The show where the most popular thing is the bit of the LGBT thing going on, right? I really jive with it, despite myself being not a LGBTQ person, or at least not yet, I guess. I really jive with the show. It's really nice. I watched it. I was like, this show, especially in the episodes with that funky lesbian action, you know what, go get it. You do you. I'm really happy that this is the kind of television we got nowadays, story-driven stuff, which is a shame. Season 3 is going to get a little shafted. But in the end, I feel like creatives like them that work on projects like that can make the most out of, well, what little they get. I think despite it being shortened, it's still going to be something worth watching. Season 3, that is. Season 2 has been pretty good, and it's on hiatus at the moment with no defined release date, but that happens. It's fine. I was there for Steven Universe. Surprise, I watched Steven Universe. Surprise, I browse Tumblr. I use Steven Universe. I talk about being open-minded with gendered concepts. I know, right? Go figure. You could probably see what kind of person I am. Probably already thinking the words to use in this situation that you would normally use if you're that kind of individual. If you made this far in the video, I'm surprised you quite haven't been so rude. Albeit if you watch any of the other Jogum&Mr.Trainer videos, you'll probably think I'm a little edgy, which at that time I was, which was not that long ago, but people changed really fast these days. Or at least I kind of changed like the one. I'm quite fickle, honestly. You grow up and you just realize, that wasn't that cool of me to say. I probably should have been nicer. I wish I told him how I felt. You feel a little bit of regret the older you get, and you start really contextualizing things, and before you know it, you're a lot less of who you were before, and that's good. That's fine, especially if who you were before wasn't necessarily the best. But you become your best over time. That's the best part. I kind of like the pose I gave this guy. Ghost robot thing. At the same time, it's a little nonsensical. Like even Mettaton isn't quite sure what sort of pose he was supposed to be doing, but it's Mettaton. I imagine his voice is like, if I could give it a little headcanon voice right now, is like that Funtime Foxy, where it's this really loud, like how do you say it, like radio host on old shows, we're like, Earth time, blah, 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 blah. It's a little whack, the audio compression on it. That's how I imagine his voice being. I imagine that's the kind of thing Alphys would give Mettaton. Albeit they probably wouldn't, since that's very much a sort of Western concept, I find. Not rooted in the animes. So after you defeating Mettaton, you face off against Asgore. When you think about the big boss, well, I completely skipped over some characters like Muffet. Well, I mean, we can have a sequel to this video where we draw some of the other bosses, like Naps the Bloke or whoever. Despite everything, it's still me. I can't fit their feet in fucking frame. How does he do it? He's got big ass pauldrons. He's got I remember when I first saw, this is a complete tangent. When I first saw King Andrias from Amphibia, guess what? I watched that too. I was like, he's got major Asgore vibes without the niceness. Well, the surprise niceness, because for Asgore, the surprise was he was nice and was going to kill you. For his people, for King Andrias, it was straight up, no, he's lying. This is a facade. He isn't nice whatsoever. He's going to murder the small children who are a lot taller and act a lot older than what their age is supposed to be. Because reasons. Dictators be dictating, they be whack like that. The more I think about it, Frisk does pretty much have like this mullet thing going on, this mullet bowl cut. Or at least, they don't spend that much time in the underground, because I was about to say they probably hair grows long when they're in the underground and can't cut it. But they weren't there that long, honestly. Like, they don't really sleep on their journey. They just kind of wake up the next day and it's, tomorrow. I mean, I guess they go to sleep with Toriel for however long they sleep. I imagine they're one of those kids that like wakes up the moment the sun rises. I mean, I was that kind of kid. You anyone do that where you just wake up like it's the moment the sun's up, you're up, and that's it? Not really when you're an adult, but just that when you're a small child, it's just easy to do stuff like that. Anyone? No one can hear me. Or I can't hear you, I should have meant. Or that's what I meant. He looks a lot more goat-like than I did the other one. I straight up did make him more... I draw a lot of monster goats. Specifically, like, really sinister looking. Not too horrifying, because I really can't draw that well to do something like that. At least not yet. Give me a while, then I'll be blowing that shit out the water. But for now, it's a lot more cutesy still, but still very much, that's a goat, and it's not meant to look cute appealing, just regular, this thing's gonna kill me appealing. A good monster design could go a long way. Which, speaking of designs, Temi Chang does a pretty good job. For a while, I actually didn't, I never heard her voice, but I assumed I wasn't gonna like it. This is back when I was pretty negative about things. Albeit, I'm fairly certain they're a wonderful individual who's, they've gotten a lot done and they continue getting a lot done. Despite however I may have felt at some point. They even made a game, actually. They made, I want to say it's called Escapism. It's an RPG Maker game. It seems they're trying to make it in the same vein as, like, Yume Nikki and stuff like that. Where, you explore a place and then, like, things happen and there's, like, events and stuff. I don't think they were able to successfully replicate that sort of thing. Based on what I see anyway, I haven't played it. I'm pretty sure it's free, so I have no excuse not to these days. Albeit, I guess in the end, it's just a matter of like, do I really just want to dedicate some time to this? Which I guess the answer is yes, because I'm trying to actually make my own RPG Maker game. So having to see how someone else did it and how far they got in their own little process would actually helped me greatly. Now that I think about it, I probably should hop on that now that I say this all out loud in front of, like, well, whoever's watching this, which I won't really know until after it happens. So there's no real reason for me to be feeling any sort of societal obligation to something that has yet... We're getting too meta right now. Anyway. Anyway, she, right? She made a game, Escapism, and it's got really nice art in it, as to be expected for somebody that can actually draw, who's done it for however long. They know how to do all the stuff. I think that's probably why I actually didn't like her at first. Was I was probably just feeling the bits of jealousy rooted deep within me, that greenness in my heart, knowing full well that there's someone that could just do it. Because when you're like a young aspiring artist, you tend to assume they just have it under control. Like they didn't spend all the time. It's talent and stuff like that. And you come to realize, no, no, no. It actually takes some time, even for them, and sometimes they don't even get it right. That's why I've actually been very invested in things like the art books, because you see a lot of process work, even from professionals who are like, you know what, this actually didn't come out so well as I liked. Then it would have been much better to just like drop an idea and whatnot. In fact, I've gotten into the habit of doing that for a lot of ideas I have, where I just kind of, it's like, you know what, I gotta let this one go. It's nice and cool, but I can't put time into like writing on this Google Doc anymore for this. I just gotta drop it. It's done. It's not gonna go anywhere. It's not that good. It kind of just had a lot of empty space, and then I think the phrase that one YouTuber puts it is "kill your babies." I was gonna say a different way of phrasing that would have been better, but the way I was gonna suggest was "put down your babies," and that's honestly not better at all. Like I feel like that's actually just worse. Put down your babies. That's not good. Good. I faltered there. It's not good. This was not a beneficial outcome to have happened to me. I could have framed that a lot better, but you can probably see what I was trying to go for. I'll be having Frisk not be tilted. Did kind of... Actually, I could fix this. I could fix this. I guess that works out. We did Asgore. I guess the last one we'll do for now is... Omega Flyweight. No, fuck. That's a lot of things that were going on for that one. And I don't have the time. Well, I mean, I could probably make something good. Maybe. Because it's got weird face thing right here. 2 hot dog mouths. If you can make heads or tails out of how I'm doing this, you're actually just a champion. You know that. You're actually just a champion from Zelda Breath of the Wild. That was a weird comparison I just made. Champion from Breath of the Wild. Like, of all things, why Breath of the Wild? Why not something else? And that's because I'm just kind of spouting out what comes to mind first. This sad lost child just kind of walked in onto something they really have no business dealing with. I couldn't fit his weird fucking TV head on here. He's got like spiky thingies on his body. He still keeps like sunflower motifs going. Sorry. He does keep most like flower motifs going. Albeit they're very loosely flower and more just like plant in general, and they're not even like accurate plant stuff. Or I'm not a botanist in any way, so honestly I shouldn't be saying accurate when referring to a fucking flower monster who's omega in some way, absorbing human souls that are in the shape of hearts for power. But that's digression right there, so I'm still gonna say it anyway. It's not accurate to what I feel like it should be. I mean, I'm not really one to talk. I've like basically killed the 2 plants I had because I'm absolutely just not ready for that level of commitment. He also had like flamethrowers, but I kind of already cluttered the image with a bunch of other stuff, so I'm just not gonna bother anymore. Once you get yourself in a good mood to draw something, you just start coming out. I wonder if anyone would make heads or tails of what I drew here, because I can see it. I can see what I'm drawing. I know the kind of things I'm trying to make it out to be, but obviously not everyone's going to be able to interpret this information the same. Now, if I say this is Omega Flowey, they'll be like, oh, I guess I kind of know what this is. Now, if you have a family member that sees this, they're going to be like, oh, is that you? Yeah, clearly this is me right here. If anybody can get or has experienced that, and they'll know that, like, yeah, thanks, Mima, or Grandma, or however you want to say, mother of my mother. That's totally me with the weird beak mouth and stuff. I could kind of see it there. Just the vague what it's supposed to be. It's just a sketch. Who cares? That's 7 of them. Maybe we could do one more. Let's do one more. Let's do... I know I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw it really quick. I'll see you back when I'm done drawing it. Well, I guess that's it right there. It's just one last flower. Uh, Joe. Continue. Oh shit! Some calligraphy at the end. Continue. Shit, it's not gonna. I did not. Or nah. Continue or nah. Continue. Oh nah. Yeah. That's it. I just wanted to do this for some giggles, real quick. Honestly, I wanted to get across this notion of, well, not notion. Fuck. What I'm really trying to say is that I just wanted to do this. It's been on my backlog for the while now, just to draw something, not specifically Undertale in general. I just thought of it earlier today because I was like looking at some of the things I got recently, and I was like, you know what? Let's draw some Undertale stuff. Get what we can. I did some sketches before this, and I was like, okay, I have the power in me today to be drawing, so I guess I'll be drawing. And it just kind of went from there, really. So I guess in the end, things do kind of work out. Anyway, if you made it this far in the video, however long I cut it down to, thank you. I really appreciate your time, your energy, and seeing me not be as insane as I was before, albeit still got that bit of that, energy in there of just slowly but surely going off the rails and showing that I really didn't think this far ahead. Albeit, the best ideas aren't that well thought out at first. Well, ideas, not plans. There's a difference. I know, everybody that's watching or not watching. Anyway, I guess I'll see you in the next one if I make another one, which I made another one like last time where I said it probably wasn't going to. I don't really remember that video all too well. Anyway, bye.